Hello, everyone, and welcome to part two of the March 28th Dwarven Discussions podcast for 2014. Uh, as always, I am the most awesome dwarf in all the land, Kelly. I am joined here by Tana,
Hello.
and with our guest back for this section of the podcast, Vel.
Hello.
So, if you watched the podcast before this, you already know that we've discussed the deals in that podcast. There will be a link down below to the first part of today's double podcast. Going on, we are now going to be talking about Diablo 3, almost said Diablo 2, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls.
And just as a forewarning to anybody who has not played either Diablo 3 or Diablo 3 Reapers of Souls, play it first and then listen to this podcast because we are going into some seriously deep spoiler warnings everywhere. They're everything. Spoiler warning. Giant big episode of spoilers.
Imperius dies! Oh, it's ruined for you now.
Fucking wish. I fucking wish. Oh my god.
Would that be so much ruined is made better?
Made better.
Yeah, I think that would, increase sales. Like, if you were to frickin' be like, the next BlizzCon, they announce a Diablo 3 expansion, they're just like, so Imperius dies. Boom. You got, a bestseller right there.
I'd buy it.
Fucking hell. Okay, so to start off, we have a list of things we want to talk about, and starting off is System 2.0. I love it.
It made the game for me. Honestly, before patch 2.0 hit, I got so bored of Diablo 3. I couldn't even get to level 60. I was just like, I can't do this. It's not fun at all. And ever since System 2.0 came out, they've changed some stats around. They changed how loot dropping works and the rarity of the different qualities of loot, all that. It has made the game so much better.
Yeah, I know.
Plus, it's Diablo now and not Auction Hunter 2.0.
Yeah, definitely. I know we've touched on this quite a bit in episode 3, literally, last week's episode, but with Reaper of Souls out now and us able to take full advantage of it in, the campaign mode and then now with the adventure mode, it is so much better. It seriously feels like Diablo 2 again, where you're just running around, hopping between acts, going, I'm trying to find rares to fight. And then you kill them and get your loot. And ta-da, you don't have to go from, first quest all the way up to Diablo, rinse and repeat. You just click on somewhere you want to go there and kill shit. It is done. That
It's fun.
It really is, though, because I'm the negative Nancy of the group. There are a few things I really do not like about System 2.0, which is mostly around the loot. Everything is bound. Everything. Set items, legendaries, okay, whatever. You want those to be bound? Cool. High five, awesome. Crafted legendaries, come on, you gotta craft them. Let those at least be not bound. If I want to give somebody something, let me. Gems. Why are gems
Gems
bound?
are a big one. Gems I completely don't understand.
Okay, I can understand why crafted legendaries are account bound, but at least have the same rules as the dropped ones, where if they're in your party for 2 hours, you can hand them over, because those are a bitch. Some of the best shit in the game is just, I'm going to craft this legendary over and over and over again until I get the stats I want, or until I get a tertiary that I can reforge that I want. at least let you go, hey, I got this pattern. Well, with the normal legendaries, if you got an item that looked cool, you can hand it over to someone, they get the transmog, they can hand it to the next person, they get the transmog, and just play round robin with it till everybody has the transmog. Or, if it's not a good item for you, but your friend is playing the same class or can wield the same weapon type, you can just hand it to them. But if you get the pattern, it kind of fucks you over.
Well, it's just that I understand that they don't want, because with Diablo 2, it was a big problem with people selling items and selling gems en masse and runes en masse, stuff like that. I kind of see where they're going, but the big thing with Diablo 3, and it's a dungeon crawler, it's fun to delve through the dungeons, get the loot, but it's also fun to play with other people, and when you can't, trade gems, or you can't, give people, your friends, I can't give my friends gold, I can't trade stuff that I've crafted. It's not just a drop, but a legendary I've farmed the materials for. I've broken down other legendaries for. I can't give those to other people. I just feel that they've gone a little too far on the restrictions.
Just a little bit.
I believe that one way they could fix that, because there are going to be people that will bring up the arguments you just brought up and say that those are breaking enough that you have to make sure those don't happen. At the same time, could you not have a restriction, have someone be on your friends list or in your clan? If they're on there for at least a week, chances are it's not just because you're trying to sell Diablo games in real life markets.
See, I like that. I like that idea that if you've been part of the clan long enough, or if you've been a friend with someone on your list for long enough, that it unlocks the option to trade minor things, gems, maybe crafting materials, who knows, but allows you to trade between your friends. I think that opens up a lot more of a social aspect of the game. Because as it stands right now, yeah, cool. You get a legendary from a boss, you don't want it, you can trade it to your friends. Other than dropping and letting people take transmog from it, I've only traded one legendary to a friend, and that was to Tana yesterday when that one-handed sword dropped. Because I had no use for it at all. So it's just like, well, I don't want it. Here, you guys take it for transmog, and then why don't you keep it?
Yeah.
That time period's nice, but with the fact that most of the loot, not all of it, there's a very small chance it won't, but most of the loot rolls to your character. As a crusader, getting something isn't going to really benefit a monk or a demon hunter. You can reforge it, but most likely it's not going to be very good, especially if you're playing with other people who are at the same gear level as you. So it really, I just don't understand why some of the restrictions they have just go a little bit too far.
Well, I think that there should be a suggestion box where players can suggest things like what I just suggested if they're on your friends list long enough, because there are legitimate concerns that Blizzard's going to have, of course. We all get that. They're a major gaming company and they don't want their game becoming destroyed by real money markets. I get that. But if they can't figure out a way to have that work without having to destroy the opportunity to trade between your friends, then let people suggest things, or take a poll of League of Legends was recently putting out a survey of a new feature they want to do. Blizzard's followers, a lot of them at least, are loyal enough they'd have no problem taking a survey being like, yes, I like that idea, or no, I don't like that idea.
And you see what's going to happen is you do that, and then people will make these complaints that, oh, it's corrupt. They're not actually looking at the people's votes. They're just doing that to appease the masses and make it sound like they're listening to their input. Or they're going to say, oh, it's just a vocal minority. I hate that word, by the way, vocal minority. Oh, but it's just a vocal minority who complains that we don't get. It's just, I agree with you. I would love to see polls. And you know what? Put them in game. If Blizzard has enough of a dev team to put 3 shop buttons in World of Warcraft, you've got enough of a development team to put a built-in polling system in your game. That like when you log in, it'll be like a new Blizzard poll is available. Just like a little notification, a little toast at the bottom of your screen or something. And then you can go through your options, and they'll be like, "Hey, what is your opinion on this?" I just Blizzard's gotten so big over the years that I feel that they don't really value feedback anymore. Especially with the fact that not too long ago on the World of Warcraft forums, I believe it was, one of the community managers pretty much said that people only complain to complain and that Blizzard doesn't really take people's feedback seriously. That really bothered me.
Oh, good lord.
I didn't hear about that, and it rather shocks me that any gaming company would say something like that.
Not even a gaming company, just any company in general. Yeah, we don't give a fuck about your opinion.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah, you're only the only way we make our money. We don't care what you have to say.
Yeah. That's...
How would that work as a chef, do you think?
Oh, you don't like this steak? Well,
Oh wait,
fuck
we
you
figured that out. We figured that out. I believe there's shows on Food Network about that.
Yeah.
Kitchen Nightmares, something like that.
Yeah. Insert Gordon Ramsay anything show here. Oh, you didn't like his food? Yeah. Well, Gordon Ramsay says make it again.
Well, actually, if you watch Hell's Kitchen, like look at the customers who like come up and they're like, "Hey, we're waiting on our food. What's going on?" He treats them like complete trash.
Sometimes, yeah. But he treats the chefs worse.
Yeah, he does. Now, I don't know, but like I saw that in the World of Warcraft. It was one of the community managers who literally came out and said, "Oh, people just complain to complain, and that we don't really pay attention to that stuff." It makes me go, that's really biased, because that's the kind of mindset that basically says we look at what we view is a legitimate complaint. If we disagree, it's just complaining for complaining. And I can actually make a good comparison to a character in one of their games, Garrosh Hellscream. He surrounded himself with advisors that agreed with everything he agreed with. There was no negative discussion for any of his plans in World of Warcraft, and those who spoke out against him, they were cut. They were killed. They're done. And I honestly, when I read that, I kind of felt this is the way Blizzard's going. It's just getting to the point where they're like, yeah, we'll just dismiss whatever we disagree with as the minority, because there's no way people can prove otherwise. Just, oh, you're the vocal minority, which is something I hate hearing so much, and that they don't really listen to feedback of players who have probably played for a very long time and go, this is bullcrap, why are you doing this? This is a horrible system. There are people on the forums who will make pages worth of like what their thoughts are, what they think should change. Absolutely wonderful, well typed out, well formatted posts. They will never get a blue response. A developer will never read those. But then you get someone who does something, stupid like, "Oh, this is so stupid. Somebody did this to me in the game," and you'll get blue spot responses out the ass. Like, go talk to our customer support and redirections. And I don't know. It's just they've said for years, "Oh, we read all the posts. We just don't reply to all of them." But half the stupid stuff I see, like Blizzard replies to, really makes me wonder, why aren't you spending time like commenting on like these well-documented, well-formatted arguments about something in the game or suggestions about something in the game? Why don't you say, that's interesting, we'll pass this forward to the developers? How long does that take? You reply to some of the stupidest bullshit I've ever seen, yet you can't like look at those well-formatted posts that are trying to make the game better. I just don't know.
think that a lot of that may come from the fact, if you've ever actually had to read something that somebody suggested and you're not sure that it's going to be worth your time, first of all, you have to look at how long is it, because as you were saying, it's a number of pages. That's not necessarily a good thing. In psychology, actually, the APA format that we use, we have something that's called an abstract, which is basically a paragraph of what we're going to be discussing.
Yeah.
I
The
think that might get a lot more response if you just give a little basic summary within a paragraph and a half, maybe two, of what you're going to be talking about, and then break it down farther.
yeah, they
Like
do.
I said, well documented. Yeah,
Yeah, they
I'm
do.
not saying it's just
A lot of them even include a TLDR summary. It's just like 3 sentences TLDR, duh, 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 duh. And then just like scroll after scroll after scrolling of reading and breaking down. Like some of them even go into like the actual formulas around what's breaking and needs fixed, and Blizzard doesn't do anything about it. But you see the ones that are like 6 pages of this guy killed me in this place and this place and this place and he did this and this and this and this and this, and it's just complete bullshit because literally all it was is this one person typing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again that some guy was sitting on a roof and he couldn't get him as a warrior. Okay, so go inside.
Or
like
with a flying mount.
it's just it annoys me because, like I said, well documented. When I say well documented, you got the initial, like, this is the summary of what I'm going to go into discussion. They break it down into sections with bold and underline, format it. They give out formulas. They give out like links and sources to where their information's from. Like someone who spent a good amount of time formatting and summarizing and just doing all this stuff, like beautiful topics. I may not even agree with them. There have been wonderful topics that are just so well written that I 100% disagree with. But they get no attention. You know what gets attention? Favorite achievement names in World of Warcraft, as I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
That gets blue responses. Like, I hate it.
So, are we thinking that Blizzard has gotten so big and powerful that it is no longer taking its job seriously? It's going, I'm Rick James, kind of?
Pretty much, yeah. It's outgrown its own shoes and thinks it's bigger than it really is. And really, when you do that as a game developer, you isolate yourself from your community and you kill yourself. I mean, see what EA did. EA used to make really good games because they listened to their following, and then they just stopped. Inexplicably just stopped listening to the people who were buying their games, and now they just pump out shit.
Gotta love that DRM. It makes you wonder why. And this is actually something that Total Biscuit mentioned. For years now, EA has been listed as like the worst company in the world overall, and it's there's no way EA is the worst company. I'm not just talking video games. I mean any organization in the world. EA has been voted the top. That's because the people who freaking play games, who do all this, they voted EA. What does that say? That many people took their time to vote and say EA is the worst company in the world. How sad is that? And that's what Blizzard's becoming. They're becoming too cool for school, as it were to be put. And really, it's sad because I remember back in my day when I was still playing vanilla and they brought out the PTRs for Blackwing Lair. I remember I got on and there wasn't a community manager there. There was a developer. There was a developer sitting outside of crap. What's that place called in Westfall?
Westfall? I
The
don't know.
little like flight path town.
Oh, I don't know. South Shire, I
Anyway.
think.
I don't even have a clue. But I've been playing Horde for so long that the Alliance is kind of really obscured to me. But there was a developer scene there. People were talking to them. They were just talking like normal people, like, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Yeah, what do you think of the patch so far? How are you guys doing? What do you think of World of Warcraft? You know?" And there was interaction. There was interaction between us, the players, and the developers. And God, I had some good memories. I remember one time they went to Stormwind on one of the PTRs and just like massacred everyone. You know, just screwing around with people. It's the PTR. It's not the real game. They can do what they want. You know, it was that feeling of interaction between us, the players, the consumers, and them, the developers. And over time, you know, Blizzard's gone big. There's no way they could do that nowadays. The number of people who play World of Warcraft, it would crash the server if they were to appear in like a section of the game. But the lack of communication is really getting bad. And the fact that we have these community managers, which act as the bridge between us and the developers, it's gotten out of hand, especially with comments like, "Your complaints are just complaining to complain." How does that make sense? We complain with a purpose.
I would like to actually remind us to come back to this later when we're talking about the end of Reaper of Souls, because I was definitely not impressed.
Oh
God, yeah, me either. We should actually push this back to Reaper of Souls and let's get on to the story part.
Yeah.
So, we did an earlier Diablo podcast, right?
Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah, I discussed how flimsy and shitty the story was in the original Diablo. God, Blizzard dropped the ball. It started out so good. The Act 5 story was so good up until it's like, go to Pandemonium. Then the story just literally fell to pieces. Like, okay, the biggest...
This sounds familiar with Blizzard. Going so awesomely and amazingly, and then Endgame, what?
Okay, so Diablo 3, Act 1. Oh, hey, Diablo 1 happened. We're just reminding you of what happened. Oh, yeah, Tyrell's human and we killed Deckard Cain. Suck it. Act 2. Okay, well, suddenly there's this guy named Belial. You know nothing about him, but he's bad. We're not gonna like inform you of who he is or what he does or why he's bad, but he's bad and you probably want to stop him. Act 3. Okay, we are just gonna go imprison Asmodan because we freaking imprisoned the other evils. Why not? Actually, it's the story. The story was so, and then like at the end of Act 3. Oh, okay. So Adria infused all the demons into Leia and brought Diablo back, and now he's gone to heaven. And within seconds, because we were outside watching that happen, we watched that happen. Within several seconds, yeah, heaven's already fallen and completely corrupted. Congratulations, you took 3 seconds too long. And it's just the story was so flimsy. The characters were not fleshed out. They tried to make Tyrael into more of a badass by saying he gave up his angelic immortality and all this.
Tyrael turned out to be the biggest bitch on the fucking planet.
Yeah, especially when Act 4 rolled around, he's like, "There's no hope. I just want to cry in the corner." It's like, really? Come on. They took a really awesome character. They took a really awesome character and tried to Michael Bay it. They tried to make these characters relatable. I can relate to a goddamn Archangel, okay? I don't need you to turn him into a human to make him more relatable. You just took a really awesome character and made him a sniveling little bitch. That's all you did.
You Twilighted him.
It was bad. And so I said in our last Diablo podcast, you know, I really hope the Blizzard does a better job of the story. We start the story up. It's so good. Like the way it starts,
definitely.
the way everything's done, and the side quests. Oh man, the side quests are good. Like through the Reaper of Souls Act 5, I actually learned who Mathiel was, and I learned to hate him. Like, I wasn't just like, oh yeah, this is a bad guy, take our word, he's a bad guy. This was like someone you actually saw his minions doing all these horrible atrocities. In fact, there's one quest, a side quest, and like I said, guys, this is spoilers. A side quest where I was in the crypts, like the graveyard area, and there was this ghost, and she's like, "Please help my husband. You know, he's been cursed with undeath in the sarcophagus. He's been suffering for all these years. Please, hero, help him. You know, free him of his pain and suffering." So you kill the zombie husband, he wasn't turned into a zombie by Malthael's Reapers. He was turned into a zombie through demonic plagues and whatnot. And you kill him, and she's like, "Oh, thank you, champion. You've reunited me and my husband. Now we can spend our eternity in peace finally." And suddenly, one of the Reapers appears and says, "Your eternity ends now," and just destroys both the souls right there and absorbs them for Mathael. And it's just like, you son of a bitch! Like, you hated that Reaper. Like, I killed her with such prejudice, and it felt so strong because I was like, I have to kill Mathael. This is a bad person, and you knew why he was bad. With Diablo, it's just like, oh, Diablo's back again. Well, he's evil, so... There was such a buildup. And then it just kept getting better and better and better. And then once you get done with, I forgot the town name, High March?
High something, I don't know. Yeah. Something.
Anyway, the town name. And I know this sounds really bad for my case that I can't even remember the city's name, but once you get done with that, it's like, okay, we've repelled his invasion. Now we're going to go after Malthael. And you go to find Adria. You find out, oh, he's hiding in Pandemonium. From that moment on, the game just took a shit. It's like, okay, we're going to go to Pandemonium. We got to go to heaven first. What?
Why?
I'm pretty sure we didn't have to do that in Diablo 2. We just went straight to Pandemonium Fortress. I mean, even if Malthael's fortified it, he's in there now, I'm pretty sure we can go straight out there through portals. We go to heaven, and I really thought that this was going to be something big. I thought this was going to be huge. Because when you arrive there, it's already under attack. Now, as we later discovered, Malthael was only after those that are demonically corrupted. Why is he attacking heaven? Imperius doesn't like us. Malthael still feels he's doing good. So far, Tyrael's the only one that's kind of got a problem with it. Why would he attack heaven when he could easily just say, "Hey, Imperius, fuck the Nephilim"? And he's attacking heaven. And when that happened, I fought them off. I'm like, why would he be attacking heaven? Because the Reaper chick is like, the Nephilim is here, attack him. Like, the way it was set up, it seemed like they weren't expecting the Nephilim to come to the heavens. I was like, that's interesting. Why would Malthael attack the heavens? And, then after you defeat those monsters, Imperius is there. He's like, oh, I don't want to put down Malthael himself, but I'll help you guys. And Imperius starts helping you, of all people. And that's when it clicked in my head. Angels can be corrupted. Diablo kicked the shit out of Imperius before we got there in the original game. Like, Imperius got his ass whooped. My thought was, what if Malthael was sending his Reapers to try and kill Imperius because he's been corrupted? And, I thought that's what Blizzard's going to go with. I'm like, oh, this is going to be such an amazing cliffhanger. I can already see it happening. Frickin', he starts helping you. Demons conveniently appear for him to just, destroy en masse. It's like, yeah, this is making way too much sense. Imperius is corrupted, and we don't know it. It's going to turn out at the end, after we kill Malthael, he's going to be a bad guy. Nope, that was never expanded on. Imperius just decides, for whatever reason, he wants to help us now instead of, trying to be against us. So, it was bad. It felt rushed. You go in there, it's like, there's a giant battery ram over here. Go get some runes and start it up. And it felt like after the Adria part, where it's like, go to Pandemonium, I know this can't be true, but it felt like they ran out of funds and had to rush the rest of the game. Because it had such a good pacing before that, and then it's just so anticlimactic. There's no monologuing, there's no the chase, trying to hunt down Malthael, trying to stop his soldiers in different towns. There's nothing. You just go in there and you kill him, he dies, and you don't even get a cutscene.
Yeah, you just get that stupid
cinematic cutscene.
You just get that stupid, paper, hand-drawn cinematic thing. I mean, it's a cool effect, but kind of wanted my Diablo Soulstone falling from the sky kind of cutscene.
I mean, it would have been cool had that been in like a special feature, or a different style of ending. If you beat it on a different difficulty, then that would have been sweet and an awesome feature. It would have been given mad props, but as the primary ending, that's just no.
Yeah,
The story let me down. It started out so
uh, started out so good, such good pacing, such good story, such good writing, and then yeah.
Such shit.
they dropped the ball. That's sorry.
If I had never finished, like if I had gotten Reaper of Souls and gotten halfway through Act 5 and never finished it for some odd reason, I would have been fucking happy because I would not know how shit the ending is.
It's bad. You know, the bosses were so well done. I love freaking fighting as Lieutenant. I loved fighting Adria. I loved the boss fight with Malthael. It was pretty intense. Those freaking clouds are annoying as shit, but it's an intense fight. What I didn't love was how anticlimactic it got. The moment like you found out he was in Pandemonium, like it felt like it was setting up something bigger. Like there was like some strange mystery to it, and that's just like, nope, we're just going to Pandemonium. We're going straight to fight him, and it's done and it's over with. And then at the end, guess what? Diablo's back. He was freed. Whoop-de freaking do.
Yeah, it's setting up for either another expansion or Diablo 4 easily. It's like, oh, Malthael consumed the Soulstone, and then you killed him. Fuck. They're all free again.
I hope it's rather a patch and not an expansion or another game. I mean, it would be cool to see another game if they did it well. But I'm worried that if they just keep up with this and they're like, oh yeah, we're releasing another one, nobody's going to be all that interested with how this one ended.
That's another
or
thing
I should
that
say
actually.
few people will be.
One thing that really kind of struck me as odd as well. Malthael is against everything demons. He wants to get rid of them completely, right?
Yeah.
He summons the Soul Stone, breaks it, and infuses Diablo. Okay, I'm going to call him Legion because that's what he referred to himself as at the end of Diablo 3 Original. But Diablo absorbed has the souls of Baal, Mephisto, Belial, and Asmodan in him now. He's one super mega demon, right? Well, Malthael broke the stone and absorbed his soul. He's a demon. He absorbed the soul of a demon into his self. So wouldn't that mean that Malthael is now corrupted with demon essence just as much as the Nephilim would be? Because he now has a demon soul absorbed into his own soul. So why would he do that? Why? Like, it felt like a forced decision that we've got to get Diablo back somehow. So we'll have him break the stone and absorb the demon souls, which he's trying to get rid of, and he's doing by killing all the Nephilim because they're part demon, part angel. It's just like, he wouldn't do that. He would not do that. He would rather destroy the soul than absorb it. It's just like, I can't see it. It just, there were so many things that they made about this that really bothered me, including the fact that Pandemonium was made to protect the World Stone. Do you mean the World Stone that's in Ariat Summit or whatever? You know, the barbarian homeland? Not even close to Pandemonium?
I did not understand that one whatsoever. It's like, how did this move between games? Because it's kind of a fixed point, because that's kind of what Baal was after. And that was, in the barbarian homeworld. And this is made to protect it. And how is this in heaven?
It really did. Actually, you know what? I was thinking, no, it doesn't make any sense at all. I do not. I don't know. I'm not a super huge Diablo lore fan like many of you may be. I do know that when you fight Baal at the end of Lord of Destruction, he opens a portal and goes through it to the World Stone, which I guess could. I'm just speculating here. Could have been Pandemonium, but why would he have invaded the barbarian homeland area to get to the World Stone if it was in Pandemonium? It's something I do not understand. Was it a retcon? Did they retcon? I don't know. It just, the story fell so short, and I had such high hopes because it started out so good.
Okay, just odd question here. Do we think it would be better if rather than them doing what they seem to be so good at, starting off with amazing storyline and then tapering off, do we feel that it would be better if they were to keep it at a constant, not amazing, but not terrible rate?
Well, this wasn't even a taper off. This was just, okay, amazing, 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 amazing. What?
It feels like they lost funding and they had to rush something.
Yeah.
See, here's the problem with me.
To put it in perspective of a different medium, this feels like the original ending to Evangelion.
I was just thinking.
It's like amazing, amazing, amazing,
Yep.
amazing, amazing. Crayon?
It's Now here's what bothers me the most. Blizzard Entertainment for the longest time was known for not releasing something until it was perfect. And when I saw, okay, so World of Warcraft has been going on the downswing for a while, in my opinion, in quality. I didn't think it was going to spill over to the other franchises. Like Heart of the Swarm, oh man, that was such a good expansion for StarCraft. Like, in fact, I felt Heart of the Swarm was better than Wings of Liberty. It was so good. Then we get Reaper of Souls for Diablo 3, which Diablo 3 had a pretty absolute shit story and such a bad system. 2.0 comes around, the system gets made so much better. I'm looking at the character. I'm just like, I'm playing through the story when Reaper of Souls comes out. I'm like, Blizzard, did what they normally do. They pulled their heads out of their asses and they did something. Oh, what happened to the story? It's just like, I loved it so much. Then I got to that point and it just ruined it. And I felt like Blizzard rushed this out, and it's not by Blizzard standards. I don't even know what to say.
I think they may have done it that way to try and beat EZO in release date.
Bad move.
I'm wondering if Activision could have had any part of that, because I mean, Blizzard's not really Blizzard anymore. It's Activision Blizzard. And while for the longest time they've been saying Activision won't influence us at all, I'm really wondering what if they're like, you gotta get this out, you gotta push Diablo 3 out.
They might have. I don't know. I didn't really think about that. I generally don't even consider them the same merger company, even though they are, because it's like Diablo 3, StarCraft, and WoW, or Guitar Hero.
And Call of Duty.
Fuck Call of Duty.
Well, I wonder, may that also have a factor on it, because a lot of the Call of Duty and sadly, a lot of high-end games anymore are just having the idea of, it's good enough for beta, release it wholesale. We'll just patch it later. And that is just not a very good business strategy in my opinion, but it has become so common that I'm wondering if that's what Blizzard's trying to do.
Oh god, I hope not.
Because Blizzard's been known to do the exact opposite, so I'm like, don't. I agree. I hope not either.
Like the Burning Crusade for WoW, that was pushed back like almost half a year. And then the same thing for Lich King, and then like super fuck rush for Cataclysm and Mob, and it's like, the fuck are you doing? Push things back if you need to. We don't mind. We're Blizzard players. We understand. We want perfection.
To a point. I don't mind if I know for a fact it's going to turn out to be something spectacular. What I do mind is when Blizzard says something and then, oh, sorry, there's a year wait. And I'm just going, is the year wait really necessary? Like, how much better is the game going to be? Like, if you guys need to push an expansion back for something, then give us something else to do in the meantime. Don't just give a gap. Like,
yeah, but I mean, Blizzard is literally the company that coined the term soon TM. The company that can coin that and not piss a million something people off at the same time, you come to expect more from their games. And with Diablo 3, like the entire Diablo 3 and Diablo 3 expansion pack was just meh. StarCraft 2 was fucking amazing. StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm, fucking amazing. World of Warcraft, or just the Warcraft franchise in general, between Warcraft 1 and World of Warcraft Lich King, fucking amazing. Everything past that has just been meh.
Well, with Diablo 3, are we thinking that they're trying too hard on the particular graphics that they're after, and not enough time on story? Because I know there are a lot of other games. I am a big Steam follower, well, mediocre at least, and I've seen a lot of games that look so pretty, but are absolutely useless.
Balancing graphics between gameplay is definitely a hard thing to do at times, but for a company like that can just devote 300 fucking employees to one project and not give a crap, it shouldn't have been an issue at all.
Well, it definitely shouldn't have been, but I'm wondering if maybe it was, because I'll give it that. It looks pretty, but that's about all it can say.
Yeah, it definitely has some graphics to gameplay balancing issues. I'll definitely give you some on that. But just, I cannot believe how disappointed I am with that storyline, and that it's an obvious lead-in to either another expansion or another game. I mean, you look at Diablo 2, you're like, yeah, we killed Diablo, fuck all. It had absolutely no lead-in that they were ever going to release another expansion or game. And then, boom, Lords of Destruction. Yeah.
well, actually, remember at the end of Diablo 2, what's his face is sitting in the madhouse and he thinks he's talking to Tyrael, but he's actually talking to a cloaked Baal. And after the discussion's complete, Baal kills him. He's like, "Oh no, you're not Tyrael," and kills him and walks off. And you didn't really know who it was, but through the process of elimination, I mean, you saw them in the cutscene. You saw Baal, Mephisto, and Diablo in the Act 3 cutscene.
But if they want us looking for the next thing, shouldn't they have it to where it gives us an obvious cliffhanger, something that we are like, oh, that is so cool story-wise, or storyline-wise, rather than, oh, this feels incomplete. Maybe they're going to complete it with the next game I have to spend between $40 and $100 on.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Nah.
It annoys me.
I'm glad I have the box. I'm glad for that. I wish it came with something else physical, like, the original one came with the USB drive. This one just kind of came with a art book.
Aren't they about the same price? Like I paid, I believe it was $100 for my collector's edition, and it didn't come with a USB drive or anything. It's got the art book, it's got the installation CD, the behind the scenes DVD, the soundtrack, and the mouse pad. So comparatively to the original collector's edition, you're just getting less for like $100. That's another point I can go into is like Blizzard's always made such good collector's editions, and this one, like it's got the big box, it looks cool, but it just doesn't feel like it contained the same quality of like, look at all you're getting for buying our collector's edition that the original did.
Yeah, like you look at
They're relying. I think they're relying too much on the, oh, look at this cool, absolutely useless, other than the sheer graphics of it, this cool pet you can get within the game.
Well, the original Diablo 3 collector's edition came with wings and dyes. This one came with a pet and transmog.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the original Diablo 3 collector's edition box. Like you open it up, it is packed from top to bottom. Like you try and close that thing up, good luck. Just good luck. With this one, there's a lot of empty space. Like a lot of empty space.
Yeah, I don't know. It's disappointing. Like to go back to our last week's podcast where we had nothing but high hopes for it, and to play through the story mode and at the start be like, they did it. Blizzard actually did it. They made a pretty good story mode. Just for it to fall apart at the end, I mean, it is soul shattering.
Yeah.
That's the
Disappointing.
true Reaper of the Souls.
Yeah, no wonder they called it that. No fucking wonder they called it that. Goddamn. Because it will just tear you to shreds. And I feel sorry for everybody, including myself and Kelly here that bought the collector's edition, because it... Unless you're buying it specifically to have the box to put on your shelf, collector's edition isn't worth it. And
Nope.
it is rare.
They also did a little. They did a little too much with the. I mean, what they did with the art book, that's kind of cool. Having the app on it, that it'll bring it up on your phone as something 3D that roars and moves around. That's pretty cool, but at the same time, couldn't those resources have been spent, elsewhere, like storyline?
Yeah, no doubt. Cool gimmick. Why? Would rather have game better.
So moving on, the story was depressing. Really fits what Reaper of Souls was. That the story itself was depressing IRL, but the big thing that was also added in Reaper of Souls was adventure mode, which I guess people like they saw that it is. It's more fun than just replaying the entire story, resigning your quest, replaying the entire story, resigning your quest. Adventure mode is something that I've done, Vel's done. Tana here hasn't had a chance to do it yet, so to explain adventure mode a little bit, do you want to go ahead and have a crack at Vel?
Basically what it is you go through and you find your favorite bosses, and you can teleport right up to where they're going to be. You don't have to go through and get waypoints all over again, anything like that. You don't have to go through and get quests or anything like that. You just find your favorite bosses, you go to them, and you pimp slap them. It is amazing if you're trying to farm loot. There are also things like quests known as bounties, which are quite useful and decent way to get XP. But you don't have to have the bounties to be able to go kill your favorite boss over and over. If you're like, I really want to kill this and see if it'll eventually drop me a legendary.
I haven't really gotten a chance to play with it. I've only gone through the what the hell is it called? The feature spotlight
Campaign?
Yeah, like I've only gotten to read and watch the video on the feature spotlight, but from what I saw on that, it looks kind of interesting. Like it turns the game back into Diablo 2, where you can hop between acts and just murder everything for loot, instead of having to go back and reset and start from the beginning again.
The only complaint I have about adventure mode, I really like it. The only complaint is there is no, like there was with World of Warcraft dungeons, where you could right-click your picture and be like, hey, send me, or sorry, you could right-click your picture and reset everything. There is no going to town and resetting it all. You have to drop game and come back into it. Which, it's not a huge inconvenience, but at the same time, it is a complaint, especially if you have all character slots filled up. You're sitting there with 4 of your friends, and all of you have to drop game at the same time. Again, not that difficult, but it could have been a little nicer.
It's still easier.
Especially if someone's AFK.
Yeah. But it's still easier than everybody drop game, hop over, or reset quests, hop over to a different character, start the quest at Diablo or now Malthael, start game, hop back out, hop back over to the character you're farming on. That was a bitch.
Yeah, I remember doing that. It was no fun. Of course, with Diablo 2, I used to play a rogue that I played like a sork. It was rather hilarious. You've played with me. You saw how I would just drop lots of lightning traps and then just be like, come follow me. That's one thing I also want to point out. I've not played every class. In fact, I only recently started playing Diablo. And I've been focusing on a monk, but I've not seen anybody that I've played with or heard of the ability to drop traps, and I thought that was really cool. Am I just not exposed to it, or does it not exist in Diablo 3?
Demon Hunter is the closest you got with the bombs and the caltrips.
Don't Demon Hunters have a turret, or am I just...
Yeah, they have a
imagining
turret.
things?
They have a turret, but eh. Turret's okay, but really the only one you really want to use is the healing turret, because the others, after they got rid of the difficulty settings like they were, it was useless in Inferno, and now it's basically useless in anything past hard mode. The turret just does so little damage, especially after they nerfed the damage of the turrets. It's like, why even have this on my bar?
Oh, I enjoy adventure mode. I think it adds a little bit more spice to the game instead of just reset, play all the way through for your guaranteed legendary from the final boss. Reset, play all the way through. I think that it's going to get repetitive really fast, and until you start getting gear, the Nephilim rifts are going to feel really slow, which... Did you discuss the Nephilim rifts? Because I have to be completely honest, I had to go AFK and grab a drink because my voice is like going out.
No, we didn't. I saw that there was an achievement for doing a Nephilim rift in 2 minutes or less, and I was just like, fuck that shit.
Basically,
Oh, that sounds like fun, though.
No.
Basically, another aspect of the adventure mode is when you complete the quests, you get you have a chance of getting rift shards or whatever, which when you collect, is it 4 or 5 of them? I don't know. Okay, because I get them en masse and then I do the rifts. But you collect 5 shards and you use it to open a rift to basically think like a mini dungeon where each floor is different and randomized, and you can have any sort of number of monsters there. You go in there and you have to kill enemies until this Nephilim bar gets filled up, and that boss gets summoned, and that's the rift. And when you complete it, the boss drops a bunch of loot, which in the beta was a greater Heraldric cache, but instead they just made it so the boss itself dropped the loot that would have been in that cache. But basically, you do the bounties to get the shards and the caches to do the Nephilim rifts, and that's basically what it is. And I think after enough time, it's going to get repetitive. But for now, I think it's a very wise choice on Blizzard's part as an alternative to just doing all the quests, resetting the game, doing all the quests, resetting the game over and over.
On the note of Heraldric caches, I would like to point out that we did a little testing just because we had the opportunity to. It does not matter what torment level you are, the loot is not going to be any better if, say, you acquire it on normal or hard mode and then bump it up to torment 6. The loot will not be any better. Likewise, if you acquire the cache when you're, say, 66, which I was, and then wait until you're 70, it's still going to be a piece of 66 gear. Sadly, it does not work that way, but it's honestly probably better for the game at large.
Yeah, because then you could just, like, farm them on a low-level character and then just toss them at your 70 through the shared bank.
Yeah, that, while it sounds like fun, would, again, just break the game and make it completely not worth playing.
Like the auction house did for a while, because the auction house killed the game originally.
There should be a guild called that.
Auction house killed the game. Yeah, that would be funny. Alright, I think that's pretty much it for our depressions of Diablo 3, and I think I'm going to name the podcast that.
I can't speak anymore. The Reaper took my voice.
That would have been a better storyline than what Diablo 3 Reversals had.
But here's the big
ending
question.
at least. I can't tell the story at the end because my soul is gone.
Here's the better question, though. Is Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls still a better story than Twilight? I don't know. It's pretty shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure anymore.
Don't ask me. Oh, yeah. Anywho, that's pretty much wrapping it up for the part 2 of episode 4. If you like what we do, like, share, subscribe, and we still have that copy of Humble Weekly Sale Sega, including the Total War Shogun 2-pack, to give out, and I guess not too surprisingly, seeing as we're new, nobody commented on the last episode 3 video, so that is still up for give out. If you want the Humble Weekly Sale Sega Complete, comment on episode 3.
Spoiler, this isn't episode 3.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you all for listening, joining us on our discussions on Elder Scrolls Online, and of course on this discussion on Diablo 3. Have a wonderful day, and look forward to seeing you all in the Elder Scrolls Online. Goodbye.